All right, sorry, I was on mute. Why can't I pin us?
Oh, that thing is on this.
All right.
Kathy, can I ask a question? Is there a limit on the general board meeting? Is there a limit to the number of people that can speak in the public session?
Yes,
Under the bylaws?
yeah, it's
People?
20.
Really?
20
Mhm.
under the bylaws? Okay, thank you.
It's 20, yeah.
Total.
20 total people
I
in
don't
public
know.
sessions.
Yeah, I don't know that either, but we.
Yeah, it's on the list.
We can
When-
always fix that. You want more or less?
I thought we were setting one, because I didn't think the bylaws.
Yeah, I don't think there was either.
Oh, then it's maybe
Like
not in the
draft, yeah.
bylaws.
Yeah, it might be
I know,
draft.
actually, I think that was an amendment to bylaws a number of years ago.
That's one of the problems, that
happened.
the amendments sometimes get lost.
I think that may have.
Yeah, because I can look for it because there was a change. Remember, like, we changed the minutes, the
You
2 minutes?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It was a change from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. And then it was the tops, the limit was 20
Oh,
people.
it's the voice of the former chair. Look at that.
I remember going through that issue and that meeting with where Richard was the chair back when.
Uh-huh, and there's Mary. I'm always impressed by what the owl camera does. Look at that, that's 3 different people on the screen and one panorama on top.
Yeah, the panorama thing, I don't.
Paula, can you
It's
make
inherently a panorama, that's,
me, the one that says IRL, co-host, I could just change the view,
it's very clever software.
so y'all can see people. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Ronnie, yeah.
Hello, Ryan.
Hey,
Okay, how are
Mary, welcome
you?
back. Get her tan.
Well, when you do, then I will get it, and until then I won't.
All right, it's 6:40.
Yeah.
Let me see, who do we got? Mary, Sumari, Darrell, David, and Esther. Okay. We will not have quorum tonight in person. So I'll talk about what that kind of means. But anyways, I hope folks got to step outside if you're not outside taking this call. And enjoying some of the.
I believe I count towards quorum for our conversation last week or 2 weeks ago.
Well, regardless, we still are like super under.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, one or more and it wouldn't really affect our ability tonight. Sorry. Okay. So we're skipping our kind of official call to order. I do have items that I kind of wanted to fold into within my board chair report. And since Michelle should be hopping on, but won't have a treasurer's report, I wanted to extend the time a little bit because we have a mini presentation today. Cool. Is there anything else that folks did want to add are missing on the agenda tonight? I know I have 2 resos. And I'm not sure. Did people get 2 resolutions?
I only got one.
I only got the.
Just the
housing
housing.
one.
Yeah, just the housing.
Okay.
Sorry, TNT would have just gone out in like the last 20 minutes, because I didn't deliver to Pella in the right way, because I just like
Got
shared
it.
it on Google Docs, not helpful.
That
for her.
one, yeah, since it's a street code naming, we'll handle it differently. Oh, I mean, boom.
Yeah, we fixed the typo. Someone had written 189.
Yeah, it says 189 and
79.
not 179.
Yeah.
But all right, so tonight, we're gonna talk through more admin stuff, as we usually do. So we're gonna have report back from our intern. I'll talk a little bit about the office along with Paola. Within the committee and then we have to talk through our last 2 months of calendar, which is May and June. Within committee and task force reports tonight, I would want to kind of also ask, given a couple hiccups this month, really, if you can share, what's your experience with quorum? I know there was a few technical difficulties, but realistically, anything around attendance, reminders, notices, that kind of stuff. I would want to hear from all of the committee chairs, so that Anthony, myself, Paola can kind of really look at, particularly in terms of attendance, in the last 2 months of the year. If that sounds good. All right, cool. So for my chair report, as I shared, Ebenezer is out on medical leave for the next 6 weeks. So we were hoping to have one candidate ready for tonight, actually, for the part-time position. But we will be interviewing another candidate. That one fell through tomorrow, actually. So given the way that we proceed, that the goal would obviously be that at least the part-time will have in front of the executive committee next month. Paola's gonna continue to power through candidates received from the city for the full-time office role. It's definitely been challenging on the part-time role because, one, it is part-time. Two, more so because of for an outreach role, we really need folks to be bilingual, have at least some type of experience with this district or with doing community engagement. And the pool just hasn't necessarily reflected that. The full-time role, my understanding is the qualifications and folks have been a little bit all over the place, given in terms of the pool, and also given, quite honestly, what we're able to offer. So Paola, like I said, just made another request for the second batch of resumes that have come through City Jobs. And hopefully we can get there. I know we've been continuing to reach out to other folks like CUNY, some of the workforce programs to try to get more pool and applicants, but we're still getting there. So hopefully May definitely has to be, and obviously June is kind of like our big deadline to be able to fill the positions. So that is hiring. I just had my notes. Where did they go? Yeah. Okay, so that's hiring. As far as also thank you last month to everyone around our spending plan. Ebenezer was able to submit for a budget modification, and we're kind of still going through that process because they're on vacation. But we did kickstart with our website, kickstart with our design and all of the areas that we're working on. So really between now and when Ebenezer's back, Paola and I are going to be kind of like hoping to making really big progress there. Along with that, we also finally got a yes from campus facilities at George Washington High School for the donation, or to be able to donate the equipment that is in this room, some of the desks that is in the back that we as the board can't use. Yes. And so, both first floor, which is media, third floor, health, have had projects around creating like film labs. So this equipment's gonna be super useful, brand new, some of the desks as well. So we're gonna coordinate that. So hopefully by the time y'all have committee meetings, you can breathe in the space. But I'm super relieved that somebody will be able to make use of the stuff, even like the huge ladder that we have that we realistically wouldn't be able to use. Okay, and then the last thing, and I guess maybe I could open it up now before I open it up to the presentation, is regarding the website. I did not really hear back from folks, so I was hoping to just kind of take stock real quick from folks who are present on the call right now of the website edits or changes that you would like to see, if that works with everyone. So just kind of like, wish list items for our website, or what is really kind of hard to find, or what do you think should really be improved upon? We have a really tight turnaround to fix the website, which is 2 months. And we have a lot of content to also add to the site. So I definitely would want to hear from anybody, can kind of go first, of what you, or a feature that you actually really like about the website could work too.
Can you put the website up so we can write it down?
Oh, that's a good point. Let me see, hold on. And I can share screen. Or if you have no thoughts on it.
I mean, from like a design perspective, the one thought I had always was around the calendar. I always felt like the calendar could be just like a little easier to use. Maybe even like show several months over time. Hello.
Okay, several months at a time.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm just jotting this down. So we have like the short link here. Yeah, I agree. Being able to kind of like see it in a different design layout. It is WordPress. Oh, thank you for linking, Simari. The link is also still open, so if you do just want to take your own time, please do. One of the things, for example, that there's two things that we said that I'll share is I think it's kind of hard where you're like looking for committees and then we have meetings separate. So some of these like layouts just aren't kind of where I think they would be.
Right.
So if I go to committees, I would assume I would find whatever committee in those minutes or information about it. And we don't necessarily have like descriptions about what each committee does or what they focus on really. And then the other thing that actually all the boards have been talking about in Manhattan, in adopting is what's called Airtable. Airtable, it's actually grown a lot since I used to use it. It's more dynamic. So for example, no, actually, hold on. CB8, is it? Yeah. No, wrong board.
It's not like an air
CB6.
hockey table?
No.
That's not it.
So I mean, taking granted that CB6's website they're not on the city server or like WordPress, or maybe they are on WordPress, but not the city. So they took on Airtable and all of the boards when they meet through the district managers, when they meet, they've been talking about shifting over to that. And what that would look like is, let's say you go to the quote unquote tracker for resolutions and it'll take you here. So it's a table and you'll have the resolution name, when, the document, committee, topic, like we can add on any other fields, but basically like, especially with SLA, like if you want to look at a business over the years, you could look up that business and you'll find all the results there. Or I don't know.
Works like a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's a spreadsheet, but it's like
Right.
more searchable.
Very cool.
And this is
Yeah,
actually something that
Catherine.
yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that about the rezos because I don't know, I would call it a when there's a hashtag and you can search by hashtag or subject or something like that. I guess this is like similar to that, but better. So yeah, if we could, because searching for rezos, the only way we have now is just like in chronological order, right? Basically
Yeah.
by month. Yeah,
Mhm.
which isn't extremely helpful.
Okay.
Are we committed to staying on the city server?
That's a great point.
Because a lot of other, like I was looking at Community Board 4's website because they had a big scandal like the last two. I don't know if you've been following that, but it was a 5. But I was looking at their website and it was the same thing. Like they're not on the city server and their website's really beautiful. So I guess the question is, why are we on the city server?
Yeah. I remember we used to actually not be, but it was the issue was maintenance. So like it was it also was not the best kind of host site and like design, very like 1995. But essentially because it was so outdated, it switched to the city one because it's easier and there's a lot like free support. But I mean, it is a good question. And I don't know. I think that if we could get the maintenance and support, I mean, sites have evolved, like they're pretty easy to manage nowadays, but,
And it could be an ongoing budget item now,
Right.
like,
right.
And it sort of means Big Brother can't say, you know, we're not letting you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they can come after us anyway, but they can't turn it off.
Mhm. There was also like the validity, to kind of make, like being on the city site gives you the .gov and, I mean, some of the, the .gov, because they all have like .org. You could go ahead, Debbie.
Yeah, I mean, nice websites are nice and all, but I think that to me, it really should just be about the basics. People have a hard time doing like, people are not coming to our website. Like, we are not a draw. People do not seek out. The people that are hitting the website are either trying to figure out that's one meeting they heard about, like when, where, what's the link, or somebody told them to write their letter or send it in to the district manager, and they're looking for like what the email or contact form is. Like, at the very basic level, like, yes, we loaded in all these resolutions and amendments. It's not searchable. It's not logical. It just we just input it. We didn't, you have to know you're looking for it, and you have to know when it happened. I don't know that shit, and I've been on the board for years and on the committees here. So like those, like just the basic things of what actually users have come to do, like that's it. And it's just like, it doesn't, that it looks nice, it's on its own little thing, like it does, that to me is not the first order of business, because we haven't kind of tagged the basic bases. I mean, certainly it's improved the past couple of years, but like that's not saying much. And I still think sometimes people are like, wait, how do I get the link? And how do I find what's on the agenda? And like, how do you find that stuff? And so the thing that you showed that'll, hopefully make it more searchable and all that, like, that'll be great. We'll know what they can do.
Yeah, that's a great point. Mary? Oh, sorry, you can keep going.
And I was just gonna say, I don't know if it comes down to one person, but if I needed to run down to the board, I could get there. I just probably couldn't leave for another 15 minutes. But if that made a difference, I'll come down.
No, because quorum's what, 9? Where's the board? That means 7. And as of right now, we don't have anybody else who said they were coming.
Okay, all right.
So I will let you know in a few minutes. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
Okay.
Oh, you can go, Mary.
Thank you. I just want to say about the website, it really needs to be user-friendly, and it needs to be user-friendly to people who are not tech savvy. Like me, for instance.
Yeah, which I think goes to,
we want it available to the community. And the community is, it consists of a wide variety of people who are and are not tech savvy, who are and are not young. So, we're having the same problem with the Waikoa website. We're in discussion about updating that as well. So it's, a lot of concerns about both websites.
Yeah, I think that goes to Debbie's point, right? Like around the basics, like making sure one, user-friendly in general, but we need to focus on the basics. So that's actually really great feedback in terms of being able to help him, tell him like what content we need the most priority in, and like thinking about how they can organize it. But I've been talking a lot today. Yeah, go ahead,
Sorry,
Michelle.
Catherine, I may have missed the beginning, but so we have hired somebody who's working on the website design?
Yeah, the vendor we moved forward with both of the vendors.
Okay.
So they're right now they, access for the inspo of sites that we like, the feedback. And so we didn't really get a lot of surveys. So that's why I was like opening it up here. Paula did put in the chat the link. I can send it to you after.
Cool, yeah.
That way you can just give us some feedback and I send it to him. I'm a little past due on that, so I'm gonna try to send it to him maybe Wednesday, the latest.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. All right.
Quick point.
Mhm.
Apologies if this has been said already, but I think also ensuring that the website is mobile friendly. obviously people, you know, on their tablets and phones and stuff like that, that it's actually adaptable to that kind of, interface.
Yeah, that would be number one. All right, cool. So I want to welcome up the girls. We were talking about George Washington. We're gonna keep it going. If folks remember, when did you guys start? That's not good.
We started in January, but we
Jan-
didn't start working on the research directory till like a week after you came back.
Okay. So January they started and they're interns from Law and Public Service, aka fourth floor at George Washington. And they're tackling our resource guide, right? Because one of the things that housing that I think like half of the committees here always talk about a resource guide. And we have one. It's not that great. So they've been like going through it and they're gonna share where they're at with us, what edits they've made, and they want also your feedback in terms of what might be missing or what you would like to see more of. So I'm gonna let Ruth and Franchelina just, so you could come sit at the table too, so they could see you and hear you.
Might need another.
I also, because they were focused on in person, is printed.
But the one that you shared with us.
Oh yeah, I have it in my drive. All right, so they'll keep going through it, and then I'll pull up on the drive to share screen.
I would like to mention that I am a graduate of George Washington.
Oh. Do you know what floor or when it was all
We
one?
all went to school,
Oh.
but we had electricity and running water.
Yeah.
Not too far, long ago, right?
Oh, it's right here.
But do they have it divided by floor? That's what they do.
So there's 5 floors, but there's like 6 schools there, I think.
Six
There-
now.
It might be 5, I might be wrong.
5.
So there's the first floor, media, second floor is TCA, College Academy, third floor is health, fourth floor, best floor, is law, and the 5th floor is YBC, so it's like night school, credit recovery.
Good.
So
Got a little bit of everything.
I can see the tower at night, the way it's all lit up now.
Yeah, they took off some of the scaffolding, so you can see a
Oh, but
little.
it all has shiny lights on. You gotta go somewhere and see it at night. You see colors. Oh, it's so gorgeous.
I think I've seen the color changes, but I haven't seen the
I
beauty of
think I
it.
have it. If it's not the latest one, let me know and then I'll stop sharing. I will let you guys take it away. Como ustedes quieran.
Mhm. Okay, so obviously the cover page has not been changed yet much because that would be something more the design way, and we weren't focusing on design, we were focusing on more so the content of it. So one of the first things that we changed was the table of contents, because it was the way that it was before. It was like weird groups. Some of them didn't make sense. Some of the groupings were like senior centers and then public officials. So we kind of made it in a way where it's like everything dynamically goes together. One of the things that we did delete some stuff and rename stuff, made new sections. One of the first things that we did was the New York City hotlines. Oh. I've been working on the organization of the New York City hotlines, and we changed from important phone numbers page to New York City hotlines, including the numbers 311, 411, and 911. And the other number that we changed to the other page. Sorry. Yeah. And to public officials, I add some hours of office hours, and the links for the website. Yeah, so one of the big things was adding links to websites, adding office hours, making sure the directions were still the same, numbers were still the same. Another thing, just go
Sorry,
more.
guys, it says Eli Bueno is our chair. Just a little where's
Oh.
that?
Mhm.
Well, that'll always be changed, so we'll edit.
This is so pretty.
Yeah, so we kept like things that have to do with each other in the same section, so local precincts, firehouses, and then we actually had schools separated. So, you know, we thought it would be way better to have the public elementary schools, the intermediate schools, and the high schools all in one place. So all the schools are together with their personal homepages, and if not, we have their DOE links.
Look at all those.
We got lots of schools.
Yeah, a lot of schools. And then we have our libraries, recreation centers, post offices. In one section, the next section would be legal services and business organizations. And then to keep all of the kind of religious based stuff together, we changed Roman Catholic parochial schools and grouped them with the faith-based institutions. So most of them still have, we kept, if the website has who the pastor or reverend is, it will say it there. And of course, the website to the church is there.
Oh, sorry, I read Presbyterian, I just saw the, dang, we got a lot of, okay.
And then childcare facilities,
Was that on the list before? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we renamed
Not
it.
as detailed as that, not with links.
It was just
So
renamed.
professional.
Yeah. And then senior programs, we grouped with Ambulatory Care Network.
Fort Tryon does not have a senior center.
The nursing home?
It's purely a nursing home.
Okay.
That's the name of it.
Can you put a little comment?
Yeah, I got you right now. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about St. Spiridon. They've had some changes in that church. I can try to find out, but I would check that out to make sure they still have that program.
Okay.
And this is just a minor item, but Star Senior Center, and you may have it twice, but they have a team of social workers that helps people fill out their benefits applications, and those have intake hours, and they're phenomenal. And one of the best.
So we can add them to legal services, right?
For it's social services, it's not legal services, but I would say it would be good to have somewhere like that appear twice. You may have it already, but like where you go for help, like you said, legal or filling out benefits, in the social services, human services area.
Yeah.
So helpful for people to have that information, and the folks at Star just do such a great job, as do the people at the one at 181st and Audubon, and probably almost everyone on this, but there's definitely like a few that I'm familiar, and there's not enough capacity for all the people that need help, so it's great to have this, to be able to
definitely.
have this. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then we have hospital health services and homeless housing units. That was actually a new section that we added. I only put the ones in the community board 12 district. Would you say? Yeah, district. But I did add the link there if they want to find any other place that's not exactly around here, but like let's say Queens, Brooklyn.
Very good.
And then I think this was renamed, or we added it to food pantries. Also there is a link if There's one that, they don't, it's not exactly in the district, but they wanna find one in the Bronx, Brooklyn or something like that. And of course, we have, the time when they're open so that, they're not going on a Tuesday and it's not open on a Tuesday.
There's a food pantry at Nimick also.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And we have, actually these people who just opened up, sorry, on 181st, yeah, West Side.
But they don't, that's not a distribution center.
It won't be
It's
at
a
all?
warehouse, no.
Oh, no.
But
No,
they
people
work-
are sent downtown.
Yeah, but they
I
work
mean,
with
Harlem.
the community to offer them.
Mhm.
I think there's one at the
And
Mormon Church on Dykeman or Riverside, whatever that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mm.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Raise question.
there's also one at Holyrood Church.
I guess this raises a question, which I think we'll see throughout. I mean, there's a lot of community organizations and institutions that offer more than one service.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so what's the best way to capture that here in the resource document? Is it to kind of just relist them again under these big banners, or is it, and I don't have preference for either, or is it kind of just one big banner, something that says like multi-service organizations
I
or
think
something
though
like
that-
that, but tags
Yeah.
saying like, for an example, like the Y, they offer childcare, they have a senior center and so on and so forth. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, something that is important is food. With the issues around getting food, in this area, that anyone that has a food pantry should be listed under there so that, that can be seen right away, even though they might be providing other services.
I would say, I mean, I have a lot of, as maybe comes as no surprise, I have a lot of opinions about this because I use this kind of directory every day in my work when I was with the congressman. And just listing the organizations isn't as helpful. Like, you're either there for legal services, housing help, or help getting your SNAP, some of your benefits that relate to, food or income assistance. And so I'm a vote for, and what I did at work was I started splitting off our general list so that I could hand somebody, here's a legal list, here's how you act, here's a, service. So I think it's fine to have some of these with multi-service represented, because if somebody's using this, they're using it because they probably are going after one issue, or you're looking for help for a vulnerable senior and you want something that's close to their residence. So having that all in one place is awesome to know, okay, we don't have to move them around a lot. But so having just community-based organizations, if I don't know what they do, that's not as actionable. But if I know that I'm somebody who's experiencing domestic violence, something like that, to know that, hey, these three organizations or these two organizations are a number you can call when you're in need in any of these. And I would also say, there are some services, as we all know, that the city provides, but they do it via some of these partners. So decreasingly, can you just roll up at Nimick, right? Because they have these contracts to provide legal or benefits, help filling out SNAP applications and stuff like that. So it's certainly with shelter, if you are homeless, there is only one way to do it, and that's through the city way. That we might have certain like shelters in our district is sort of beside the point, because there's only one way to access it. But anyway, so I'm just a strong vote for if somebody offers 3 programs, but then put it in its 3 subject areas, all to the good.
Okay. Daryl?
Yeah, I was just when you were scrolling up earlier, I noticed the websites on a lot of different listings. Maybe for the sake of space, does it make sense to hyperlink the title
Yeah, we have it like that now because this is just a Google Doc, but they're gonna take this, and when it gets into design, it'll be embedded and then a print version could be made with the links separate.
Okay, great,
That makes sense, yeah. So like a web and a print version.
great.
But they did get, oh, I'm sorry, Jen.
I just raised my hand. I agree with, I think, Debbie and several other people that if an organization has several different services, it should be listed, you know, in each case. And the other thing which you might want to do is you might find some symbol or something to show that, you know, this is the main listing of the organization and, you know, so that people could see that, you know, the other thing, you know, it would help them navigate better. And again, as you've probably been hearing and you understand yourself, and Mary is a big proponent of this, and I don't blame them for a minute. The easier you make it for people to use, the simpler, because not everyone is a computer.
Yeah.
Do you wanna kind of keep going?
I was just gonna say, what if there was, instead of having it separated exactly like this, what if it's one big directory and then under each header is just the name? So you'd kind of have it in two parts, where one part is alphabetical order, every organization, and the second part is where they actually fit in each category. So this way, if there is an entity that appears twice, it's not taking up too much space, but to Jim's point, you know, you don't have to kind of siphon through to figure out where the phone number and address was in the first instance.
Yeah, I'm definitely brainstorming ideas right now because
Yeah,
I noticed myself, there's definitely things that do repeat and it could be a little redundant and things that services that are provided that we don't exactly mention that would be good for everyone to know about. So it's just really about how it would be so that it's not redundant, but we make sure that you know what services, like all the services that are being provided.
right.
I was saying ChatGPT could do that, like copy paste all the, and they'll put it in alphabetical order, so it's not like manual. Go ahead, Elias, and then Michelle.
Yeah, just to kind of like take away some of the points that's Debbie, right? That was speaking, right? Yeah, the lady, yeah, I think that was Debbie. But I think one of the biggest issue that the city agencies have, as I've learned in the past couple of months, is that there's so little available information regarding directories per community. Because I've gone through more community boards websites than I've ever in my entire life in the past 2 months, and I see how beneficial these business directories could be, especially as I think Debbie was saying, that even though if you don't have all the information like right there, plain sight, but I think just by having the hyperlink that can direct you to those organizations, I think that solve the problem with it itself. Just a suggestion based on the things that I've seen, especially the Brooklyn community boards, with the 1 through 6 from what I've seen, and I invite you guys to take a look at them. They have these hyperlinks, extremely helpful when you're looking for information related to communities. That's pretty much the comment that I wanted to make, but it looks good. It looks great.
Yeah, Michelle, and then we'll get back to you. Okay?
Yeah, I think this is really awesome. Thanks for putting it together. My question is also more around the format of how we want to present this, because I think it might be hard for folks to like go through and read and find where they are. Maybe this is something we think about putting in like an Airtable, then maybe we have like different hashtags for whatever the, you know, the services, and then you could do different views off of that to like have like a main list, but then have like a childcare list. And that would just filter out the ones that like are applicable to childcare. And I think it would be more accessible if it were, it just feels like a tabular format to me, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point because I was like, oh, well, once we do get Airtable, we technically could just put this in Airtable. And I think we could, and then also still have like a visual for, but we've been talking a little bit about design and making it more visual and less like listy. But you got 2 more hands, Saru, so I'm gonna, if it's okay, Luana, Debbie, I'm gonna have Luana and then Debbie, because since Debbie already spoke on this.
Hello, this looks really good. I'm not gonna be repetitive, but it does look good. So one thing that comes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, because I got a weird message, like, anyway. One thing that comes, oh, I'm sorry, an entry point of discussion that usually occurs in parks is RFPs and availability of RFPs to, like, let's say our local artists, grants. So I don't know if this would be the appropriate space, but I just want to throw it out there because it is thoroughly discussed that, you know, we have artists showing in Fort Tryon and in Woodhill and local artists. That the question is, how can local artists gain access to proposals, grants? And I'm wondering if this website can be a platform for that.
RFPs.
No, I mean, I feel like honestly that they change so much and sometimes they're so specific that I think the newsletters are the best way, because if parks or any agency sends us that there's an RFP, we can put it out consistently. But what you did bring up to me is something that I had asked, I think Jana and somebody else in parks before, of like, who are the friends of? So like if I have an issue in a park, how do I know like the group that is organized in that park, right? And like maintaining that park or fundraising for that park. So we could add, and I think, you know, to everybody's point, this is dynamic. Organizations close every other day, services, you know, sunset. So like having this both in the visual, but also in the Airtable makes it easy for us to keep adding or removing services as they come online. But and then Debbie, and then just because of timing, I want to kind of let them keep going.
This is just something to think about for both the website and for this, which is that, like, when you're designing a website, but the same thing when you're building something like significant like this, you want to think about who your users are. And there's a name, it's not alias, but you set up, you say, we have 3 main groups, you know, so and so, and then you're like, you sort of describe a person, like they're a character in a play of like, okay, there's this person who has these needs and they're going to use it this way. And then the second type, they look like this, you know, young people, you know, people who are not tech savvy. But, and the reason I bring that up, and it's because remember, we're not just designing these things in a vacuum. We're designing for users who are likely to come, not, so we're designing to why 80% of the people would come. So for this one, I actually wouldn't include like the listing of all the schools that are in like CEC 6 or something or around that. Like, I don't think that that's something that somebody would come to community board, but they might come for questions like, how do you get my kids signed up for school? I arrived, I just moved here and did whatever, and then sending them to the parent office at 187th Street, or like, or here's a link to all the schools in the district or something like that. Like, so I just think each thing that we should have an idea of what's the question somebody is gonna like land on the site and be like, oh my God, this is awesome. There's this directory and it has exactly what I need. I just would say like that's taking up a lot of space. And I don't think this is necessarily like, and again, I just sort of come back to like my workplace. If it's stuff about like, what are the schools, DOE kind of owns that, you know? You know, people are not coming because they're looking for a place to worship, but they're looking to find out like, oh my God, there's all these great programs happening in all these great places, and they're important services, and you were the only people that had it in one place.
Sorry, so Debbie, just for recording it in the minutes, is the suggestion like use cases, like having examples?
Yeah, just understanding, and if it doesn't meet like something that has happened that Ebenezer and Paola have taken calls about, or that we have taken questions about, like, or what we feel is like a way that people might land on the site. I mean, we're not just building it for ourselves. We're building it for people that we're helping access the services of our great city because we're community board, and to know what is in our wonderful district, because most of us don't have an idea of the breadth of things that are available right here. And people think they have to, like, there's no way that, you know, like, really? That's happening here? That's awesome.
Okay, so one of the last things, is the pictures
Oh, sorry.
that we did.
Tranquila, como tú quieras hablar.
Ay, ¿puedo hablar en español?
Sí, dilo y yo traduzco.
Y añadir las fotos como que se viera más interesante como para que la gente le llamara la atención, porque en realidad yo pienso que deberían de añadir más lugares que son más turísticos.
So she's adding more pictures of places of interest, but also considering like what are locations that might be of like tourism potential, right? That places that people want to go that are outside of the district. Those are some,
This-
and